Outlaw, the bounty hunting dice game. This is a free print and play game. You can find the file on BoardGameGeek. It is most likely one of the simplest games that I own, and also as a free print and play game, it is probably the simplest that I have assembled, the easiest to make. Why? Because this is it. This is the game. You simply need to print a single sheet of paper that contains all of the rules and the board. Then you need to add dice and tokens for each player, and that's it. So as you can see, it's an extremely simple game. As you can imagine, it is, just by saying this, we don't know anything else, it is probably too simple for many gamers, especially for committed hardcore gamers, but as a game to play with children, for example, well, it's maybe worth a look. Let me tell you how the game works. In the game, you are bounty hunters and you're trying to catch these criminals. When it is your turn, you take 4 dice and you roll them, and then you can re-roll any and all of them up to 2 times. So after 3 total rolls, you look at what you have. If the total by adding the dice together is between 4 and 9 or 19 and 24, then you score. Well, you capture the criminal, and then you place one of your tokens on that criminal. Say after the rerolls, my total is 6, then I put a token here. All right, and then it's your turn, and your total is 21. You put a token here, and then it's my turn again. I roll 15. I don't get to put a token there. Next player. If your token would go on a location, on a criminal where you already have a token, not only do you not add the new one, but you also remove the one that you have. I guess you were trying too hard, you got distracted, the criminal, the outlaw ran away, so we're trying to bring him or her to the sheriff. But if the number that you roll allows you to put a token on an outlaw, that has a token of another opponent, then you remove the token of that opponent and you replace it with yours. That is the only twist. You hit your own number twice, you lose the token, you hit somebody else's number, they lose their token, and you put yours there. Each outlaw is associated with a number of dollars, that is how much that outlaw pays off, and you continue until, well, the rules as written say that with 2 players, the winner is the first player that gets 50,000. Maybe I misread something. There aren't many rules, but maybe I misread something. But that would mean that you need to add tokens on the board that add up to a total of 50,000. That seems like a lot. I think that would make the game very long. We started playing it and we saw that the game kind of tended to flatline around the 25. It was really hard to go past 25 because it means that you're getting the ones that you're missing, which are rare, without covering your own, without hitting your own numbers, and without the opponent taking away your numbers. Very hard to do. So we tried a variant and we lowered the number of dollars that you need to win the game. And so we started around, like, we said, well, why don't we try with 20,000? Or 25,000. And what do you know? Of course, my daughter Amelia was playing with her. Of course, she got this guy and this guy and then this guy in like 3 turns, and the game was over. So when the total is too high, then the game may last too long. When it is too low, then there's Wings of Fortune that may make the game anticlimactic. So we actually found another way to tailor the length of the game to our needs. We decided to play 10 turns. So we add the 10 tokens, we remove 1 each turn to keep as a counter, and then at the end of the 10th turn, the player that has the most wins the game. And guess what? The game lasted exactly the way we wanted. It wasn't too long and it wasn't too short, so we could control the game that way. And I suggest that you do that if you decide to try this game. And you also find that the victory conditions are a little problematic. Probably the only problematic thing in this game. Because the rules are very simple, but the gameplay is still surprisingly pleasant. The components, heck, for a game that I printed for free, there is enough attention and love that has been put in creating these cute portraits that I'm definitely pleased with the components. And this is the game, as simple as that. Try to roll between 4 and 9 or 19 and 24 with 3 dice. Try to go for your opponent's numbers. Try not to repeat your own numbers. And that's it. Play until somebody meets whatever victory conditions you have established for your game. As simple as that. Way, way too simple for most players, but I have to say, I'm very happy. I'm very happy with this game, because I do have a daughter who is 6, and she's precisely, these days learning to add 4 and 6 and add 7 and 8 and 8, 8 and 2 and 6 and 1, etc., etc. Adding together the numbers that you find in this game up to 24 goes exactly and precisely in the range that she's trying to learn or to practice or to perfect. It's exactly the kind of exercises that she does in her homework. So if I were not ever to play this game again, it cost me one sheet of paper and a little bit of ink, but I played it for about an hour with my 6-year-old, and my 6-year-old was having fun, being entertained, adding numbers together for an hour. If this was all that happens, if I never to play it again, printing and playing the game was already more than worth it. And I think actually, if you're uncomfortable with the Outlaw theme, you could retheme it, but you could even retheme it and change it a little bit. You could use it in school. You can use it as you have a teacher, if you're an elementary teacher, again, make your own copy, maybe with a different theme, and you could use it, divide the kids in groups. And I think they will have a good time, and they'll be doing a ton of math that they would be resistant to if you present in another way. But hey, you're catching criminals or changes, you're getting candies or collecting toys or catching, I don't know, fantasy monster, catching dragons that are trying to attack your fantasy city. You can retheme it easily just with a sheet of paper. You draw your own version. So I like it. I like it a lot for what it is, of course. It's probably the most minimalistic game that I own. It's a little less minimalistic than Tic-Tac-Toe. I mean, it's that level of complexity, but it's better. It's much better than Tic-Tac-Toe. It's more cognitively interesting if you're playing it with children, because they get to do math without realizing it and actually having a lot of fun doing it. My daughter Amelia really liked it, especially once we changed the victory conditions. But even before, I would say, I don't know, to her, maybe the victory conditions were more of a concern to me than to her. She was just having so fun placing the tokens there and taking my tokens away. That fun was such that she didn't even mind it all that much, and I was taking hers. But definitely, there's something about victory conditions that can be improved. Other than that, this is a simple flipping sheet of paper that you can print and you can play as a simple filler with your friends if really you want a light experience, as a play with your spouse game if your spouse is not a regular player. But most important to me, a game that you play with your kids, and that contest for sure it works very well. I haven't played it in the other contests I mentioned, light entertainment for adults, play with your spouse, but I see how that it could go better. But definitely, if you have a kid around the age of 5, 6, or 7, look no further. Definitely give this game a try. It is definitely worth a try, because you're gonna have fun. It's gonna be really satisfying for you as a parent to see how easy it is to trick your kids into being unplugged. First is another interesting thing for kids of the 21st century. They're playing an unplugged game and they're doing something that is good for their brain, and they're enjoying doing it. So Outlaw, the bounty hunting dice game. Super simple, super minimalistic, but definitely it has its uses, and I personally had a good time playing with my daughter.